Hi, welcome to Model Behavior. I'm your guest host, Christopher Michael, and today I'm interviewing the original Runway Diva, Sharon Quinn.
Hi.
Hi, and may I add, you look exceptionally beautiful today, Sharon.
Thank you. Face Beat by Christopher Michael. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's start. How did you always want to be a model?
Ooh, child, no. In high school, I was voted least likely to be a model. Well, that's what I would have been voted had they had that. No, modeling was something I stumbled onto.
Really?
Yeah, I was an athlete and a singer. I was everything except a model. And then my friends painted my face, and I took a couple pictures, and I liked what I saw. And another friend of mine had gotten signed with Wilhelmina, and that sort of spurred me on. But it wasn't anything I really wanted to do.
And when you first began, were you considered a plus-size model? Were you considered normal? How did that?
First of all, I hate that word normal.
That
means that I was abnormal.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I was always plus size, always. And I started doing it in the 80s when it had just burst on the scene. And it was actually quite popular back in the 80s. Essence magazine, a lot of magazines were doing plus model spreads. And I was working with Lisa Scott, Catherine Schuler, all of the big names and the trendsetters back then. They paved the way for the girls that are doing it now. But I didn't really become serious about it till 1995. I didn't like what was offered to me back in the 80s, so I decided to not sign the contract I was offered. And I started working on the underground, if you will, doing local shows and just traveling up and down the East Coast doing local shows and filling up my little bag of tricks. And then a friend of mine wanted to go to Paris, and he wanted me to go with him, but I couldn't afford it. So he said, well, I'm going to enter you, I'm going to sponsor you and put you in a local model competition called the John Blassingame Model of the Year
I heard of John
competition.
Blassingame.
And he said, I know you can win, so I'm going to enter you, I'm going to pay all your fees and everything and design your outfit, and you're going to win, and we're going to go to Europe together. And that's exactly what happened.
And what happened when you went to Europe?
Oh, I didn't go there to work. I went just to visit because even then in '95 I knew there wasn't really a plus size market, so I wasn't gonna play myself by showing up at straight size agencies trying to break down barriers because I knew I could barely get it done here, so I knew that wasn't gonna happen in Europe. So I went to Paris, I went to Venice, and I went to Switzerland. Had a wonderful time.
All wonderful places.
Time.
So you came back from Paris, what transition in your life to make you want to become a model?
Well, you know, when I won the competition, Mr. Blassingame he was pushy is the wrong word to use, but that's the only one that's popping in mind. But he would call me at like 6 o'clock in the morning and say, okay, I want you to call this person, this person, this person. They all want to interview you. And I put together a press kit. And I sent it.
Yourself?
Yes, off of all of the press that I got from winning that competition. And I sent it to Wilhelmina, I sent it to Ford, and I sent it to one other agency, I don't remember who it was.
So the agencies have plus size division or women divisions back in the 90s?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
they did. And but I wanted to go for the big three. I didn't want to do the smaller ones. And Wilhelmina responded. I went in and I talked to Susan Georget, and she gave it to me straight. She said I had my little asymmetrical bob. I was feeling real cute. I had the gap in between my teeth.
You did?
Yeah, my dad has a gap too, so I wore that for years. But she also told me that I had to change a couple things. She told me that I was much more beautiful than the pictures I sent in, but I'd have to. My look was kind of ethnic. That's the word she used.
Oh, we still hear that.
Yeah, I had my first cover before I even got to Wilhelmina.
Oh.
But it was for Belle magazine. I was a cover model for the premiere issue. But they didn't want to put that in my book because it was an ethnic book. So she said, if you drop some pounds, you do what I tell you to do, she said, I really think you'll do well. So I did. I got a weave. I closed the gap. She told me she thought I would make more money if I closed the gap. So I went to the dentist, had the gap closed. I dropped and got down to like a 14, 16, and she was right. I started working right away.
Was it more commercial or more catalog, or did you?
It was commercial print. I was
that's
never.
what pays.
Yeah, oh yes, oh yes. I'm all about the money.
Yeah,
I
we
knew
love a check.
that my look wasn't editorial, so I went where I got in
it
where
is
I fit
now.
in. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not that editorial chick now. I don't think so.
The bald head, they love it.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. How many bald head women do you know model?
Well, I know quite a few.
Really?
Yeah. Bald is in right now.
It is in right now, but that's what I'm saying. You would work a lot right now with your bald head.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you.
Yes.
I disagree with that, but okay.
So fast forward to
Yes.
2005, you went out for a show that Monique, the comedian, had called Fat Chance.
Monique's Fat Chance, yes.
Tell us about that. How did you go about that? How did you enter?
Well, when I first heard about it, the first thing I did was go and look at the rules. Because I wanted to know, some competitions have rules where if you've modeled professionally and you've made more than a certain amount of money in a year, that disqualifies you.
Oh, okay.
There was no age limit. There was no previous experience. There was none of that. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go down.
And didn't you all live in a house like one of the current model shows that's on now? Didn't you all live in a house together?
Well, not the first season. The first year I did it, they were still kind of working out the kinks, and they didn't really know what they wanted to do. So we were sequestered in a hotel. And we spent 10 days in California. She had all sorts of events for us, and we worked out. And they really, I don't think they knew what they had. But once they put it all together and the ratings went through the roof, they got renewed, and that's when the whole house concept came up.
So you were on the second season, first and second season?
I was on all 3 seasons, but that was the first season I was a competitor, and I was the first runner-up to the late Joanne Borgella, may she rest in peace.
Yes, God bless her.
But Monique liked what I did so much that she called me in the dressing room immediately after we wrapped, and she said, I want to take you on the road with me. She said, I want you to be the den mother to the next group of contestants, and I want you to live in the house with them. So that's how that all came about.
And how was that, living in a house full of women, and you're probably more senior than some of the rest, so were you like a mother?
Absolutely. You know, the funny thing is that most of that footage didn't make it.
Really?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because we taped every night. We would sit down, we'd have roundtable discussions. I'd ask them how they felt about what we had done that day, if there was any problems in the house. And there was a lot of stuff going on. I thought it would have made for great television, but the producers didn't see it that way, so most of that stuff got edited out.
Too bad it's not now, because it would have made it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, wow. I never knew that.
Oh, yeah. There was. I mean, it had everything. It had the drama. It had the heart-clutching moments, the tear-jerking moments. It had everything.
So when you're sequestered in the house, you can't speak to your family members, your loved ones, nobody, can you?
They couldn't.
Oh, they couldn't. You could.
I could.
Because you were the mother, their
Yes,
mother.
yeah.
Okay, okay. And you know, now that Monique has lost weight, do you still feel like she's part of the team? Do you feel like she's abandoned the plus-size community? I wanted to know your stance on that.
No, I don't think she's abandoned the plus-size community, because I don't think that being chunky or fat or whatever you want to call it is a badge of honor. That's just where she was at that time. And now she has made the commitment to herself to be healthier. I respect that. She's getting older. She has children. She wants to be around for her children. I totally get that. As a matter of fact, that's a platform that I'd like to adopt for myself, because I'm not in the best shape that I could possibly be in. I know I could be better. But that still doesn't, if I were to get to where I need to be, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't rep for my plus-size sisters. I'm always going to be a big girl, no matter how
because you said you
smaller
started off
I'm going to be. I've been small. It doesn't look right on me. So I know that even at my healthiest, I'm still considered plus size. So I'm always going to rep for them, and I think that Monique does that as well.
I agree. I agree. So let's fast forward to Full Figure Fashion Week.
My baby.
We just wrapped Full Figure Fashion Week, and you work with your friend of 20 plus years, Gwen DeVoe.
My bestie.
And how did you all conceptualize the show?
Well, Full Figure Fashion Week was her idea. And it came about from going to Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week shows, Tracy Reese to be exact, because I went to that same show, I think a different year. And I remember watching, I love it too, but I remember watching going, okay, so this stuff it's beautiful. None of it comes in my size, so I couldn't buy this stuff if I wanted to. And after a while, the whole mystique of Fashion Week, it wore off for me, because I got tired of not seeing things that I could wear. And this is how she had the same thought, and this is how she came up with Full Figure Fashion Week. And when she brought it to me, I thought it was brilliant. I was on almost immediately.
Really?
Yes.
So you sat down and you mapped out what you were going to do and get sponsors and all that?
She did all of that.
Oh,
I was just, as I support her, as I always do. When I first started working on Full Figure Fashion Week in 2009, I was actually the press liaison. Someone else was Madeline Figueroa Jones was casting director that year. So I did the press thing, and unfortunately, all the press that we got, there was the day we launched was the day Michael Jackson died.
oh.
So we were no longer news.
No, you weren't. That was in June.
Yeah, we didn't get any of that press. But we still did well, and Maddie stepped down after that year, and she offered me the position of casting director, and I've been in that position ever since, and I love it.
So how is it being casting director? Because you travel.
Yes.
Let me make sure that I have the role correct. You travel from state to state and you cast for the show.
Yes.
And how is that?
Oh, it's one of my favorite things to do. I love
Why?
One, I love traveling with my homegirl
Uh-huh.
and getting to spend one-on-one time with her because she's really busy and I am too, so I don't get to do that a lot. But I love watching different women of different sizes and shapes get excited about this project and come out dressed their best, and some of them don't always dress their best, but you know, they come out and they want to do this. They're very pro Full Figure Fashion Week, and I love seeing that. It's really a beautiful thing to watch because this platform wasn't there 7 years ago.
And is there such a thing as too big? Is there some girls you have to turn away because you're like too big, or you won't quite work in our show? You're not what we had envisioned?
Well, no. What it comes down to is I book girls based on what the designers request. Now, the first, I would say like 2011, I had a couple 22, 24s, some even bigger than that I got requests for. But if the requests don't come, I can't book you.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but if if you have the skills and you have proportionate measurements, even as a size 22, 24, and you can walk, if I can get clothing for you, I'm definitely gonna want to bring you on.
And you have the final say on the models?
No, I do not. I go over it with Gwen. Gwen has the absolute final say.
Well, first of all,
she trusts my judgment.
let's go start with every state you go to. I'm sure you find more than 50 girls.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
you have to weed it down.
Yeah, I think this year we narrowed it down to we had like 300 I had to go through, and I was just like, okay, this is gonna really be hard. And that's where the pictures come in, because once I leave you, we don't videotape auditions. Once we leave, all I have is the picture.
See, people, listen, a picture is very important. Please tell them, Sharon, the picture is so important because when you leave, that's all they have to remember.
All I have is your picture and your application and the little notes that I wrote down about you on your application. So when we get it down to, say, from the 300, I narrow it down to like 100. And that would be the most strongest pictures that I have. So if you give me pictures that are pixelated, or they done been stretched out of shape, or they passport size photos, because I do get those, yes I do, or you give me pictures that don't look like the way you look now, you automatically go in, okay, thank you, but no thank you. But the pictures that really jump out, I get 100, we spread them out, and we look and see what the wall looks like, just like the agencies do. And from there, I take those to Gwen, post them up with their stats, and we pull from there. So if your picture doesn't jump out, then I gotta fight for you. I like this girl because she had a really great walk, or her measurements were really great, or her body was really great. I always write down notes. But the final say is actually on Gwen. We don't always agree, but it all works out in the end.
Is there a minimal height requirement that you require the girls to have? Because, you could be 5'6" and still look...
Well, you should be, basic qualifications, you should be 5'8". But we do take plus petites, particularly if you walk well and your measurements are proportionate to your height. We do take that. I've taken 5'6", 5'4". I may have even had a 5'2" in past years.
Well,
if you can bring it, I don't really care how tall you are.
Well, that's a great segue. They have this new model. I can't think of her. She was on the cover of People magazine. She's 5'4", and she's like a size 22. And What is your take on that? And
That would be,
I can't think
and I
of her
know
name. It
this child's
escapes me.
name. Her name is Tess.
Yes.
Tess Munster.
Tess Munster, yes.
Yes. Let me just talk about that People magazine cover,
Please.
because I like Tess. I think she is stunning. The face sits.
Yes, but all
I
those
thought
tattoos and things.
Let's talk about the face. I don't think that People magazine cover did her justice, because it was like they took away. They downplayed her
beauty.
face. Yeah, they downplayed it, and the girl is face for the gods, as the kids say. Her face is stunning. I find the tattoos to be a little distracting.
Absolutely.
But this is her moment, and I'm not trying to take away from that. I say, go girl, get what you can get. I would hope that it would open up doors for other
I think it is,
women
but I feel
who are
there's
around that same size range. But
double standards, because if a size 6 model had all those tattoos, they'd be like, ooh, geez, we can't hire her, it's too much retouching.
well, what do you think about? What are your thoughts on how or why she is like the plus model of the moment?
I think that she is, as you said, she does have a beautiful face. I didn't like the People magazine spread myself, and I also feel that I feel like she's short. I feel like if she was elongated, taller, it would read better. I personally don't get it. I feel she's a great beauty model, but she's not a great fashion or editorial model as they're trying to make her out to be.
That's interesting.
They're trying to make her out to be a fashion and editorial model, and I don't see it. Beauty, yes.
So you could see her getting like a beauty campaign?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll have to agree with you on that. Yeah,
The
tattoo
tattoos,
things, I have my
and
own personal
then
feelings
her
about that.
proportions of her body are not all aligned together. Like, I'm not going to tear the girl apart because she's a plus size model, she's working. But I'm just saying that for me, she's not proportioned. But I feel that this year the plus size community has made a big leap, because they had a plus size model in the GQ issue. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Who was
it was
that?
an ad. They did an ad in the GQ.
You mean it was Sports Illustrated.
Sorry, excuse me, Sports Illustrated issue, and that was great.
But it was an ad.
It was an ad, but they
Come on,
Sports Illustrated had to approve it.
Yes, but Sports Illustrated has been doing that swimsuit issue for how long now?
Oh my gosh.
How long?
Cheryl Teagues was in it. How
Come
long
on,
has
we're
Cheryl
talking
Teagues been
70s,
modeling?
and you still can't put a
Yeah.
plus size model in the actual
I agree.
swimsuit layout? That is just
agree.
ridiculous.
I agree.
I mean, it's time for stuff to change. I'm not even gonna get into the whole Victoria's Secret.
Please don't. I have a friend who's a model who's a size 4 or 6, and because her boobs are too big, they say she can't be in it. She's a D cup. They said her boobs are too big. I said, whoever heard of your boobs being too big for Victoria's Secrets? She said, I take the pads out when I'm in the fitting, and I take all the pads out, and I try to put it on, and she's busting out. No, sorry, you can't hire you.
And that sets an unhealthy standard.
It does.
This is why I don't model anymore. I cannot take the mess, the stuff that they make us go through. I mean, I know plus sizes are getting it, but the straight sizes, the stuff they have to go to is crazy. I'm not willing to subject myself to that. I love me. I don't really care if you don't love me, because I love me.
Did this come with age, or you've always had this mentality?
I've always been like this. I think that I say it more now that I'm older, but I've never allowed anyone to make me feel bad about me. You don't get to do that.
You should.
And that's the name of the game in fashion. I don't live like that. So, yeah, I'll just be in the back because I can't deal with the mess in the front.
So you had this Full Figure Fashion Week was 2 days, they always are.
7 days.
Oh, it's 7 days. 7 days of events.
Yes.
But 2 days of fashion
Shows. 3 if you count the cruise.
The cruise is a fashion show as well?
Well, this year we did Ashley Stewart sponsored and did a fashion show, all-white fashion show on the cruise that went over really, really well.
So you might do it again?
It could happen. Not my call, but it could happen.
Okay.
But we also do the main shows, the independent designers is Friday, and Saturday is the retailers and boutiques, along with the Full Figure Fashion Week Awards.
Interesting. Well, I also wanted to say thank you for having this platform for people to speak who ordinarily wouldn't be able to have a voice to say what they have to say about working in fashion or behind the scenes or whatever. Who made you come up with this idea about this show?
You know, it's funny you asked me that because a lot of it comes from my experiences on the road and in fashion now. As a casting director, I cast for Monique's. I cast for Full Figure Fashion Week. I've cast singers, and I always see people getting it wrong. I worked for 6 months as a booker at a...
Getting it wrong how?
For example, when I worked as a booker, there's a way you show up for casting. You want the job. So this is like an audition for you. So yeah, you want to be groomed. You don't want to bring your kids. You don't want to show up with your husband.
Well, let's talk about coming with the kids. What about, I don't have a babysitter, but I really wanted this really, really, really bad.
Then you bring your friend and you have your kid wait downstairs.
Okay.
You don't want me to see you with your child.
I agree.
Because I'm thinking in the back of my head, so if you're doing this here, what
Are you
happens
gonna
when
go
you
to
have a
jobs?
job and you can't get a sitter? You're going to bring your kid on the job? That's a no-no.
Absolutely.
You come with your little goatee and your mustache, you ain't bothered to shave. You don't dress properly. I mean, I see things like this all the time. I see people saying they're going to change the game. How are you going to change the game if you don't even know the rules of the game?
Amen.
You got to learn it before you try to change it.
Amen.
And this is what made me come up with the concept for this show. I get people asking me all the time, well, I want to become a plus-size model. What do I do?
Well, what do you tell them to do?
Google.
Google?
Yes, because I'm not going to keep answering that question. If you...
Well, here, you have the platform to say it right now.
Exactly.
So tell them what they have to do. Once and for all. So all
Google and then watch this show every Saturday at 11:30. And I'll be bringing my friends on like Christopher Michael and all of my other friends who will tell you how they did what they do and they became successful. This is one step. But you got to do your homework and learn about the investment that it takes, because it does take an investment of money and time. So if you have a bunch of kids, maybe you want to wait till your kids have graduated or something, or they old enough to take care of themselves before you venture into something like this.
And sacrifice. So let's not forget the word sacrifice.
Exactly. Know the qualifications before you get in. If the industry standard is 5'8", you should be 5'8". You could be 5'7.5", but you shouldn't be. You can't be 5'2" and think you're gonna roll up to Wilhelmina, because they're not. They're not, and they're not gonna be as nice as I would be. They're just, thank you for coming. And you never, they won't tell you what you need to do. They won't tell you anything. Just thank you for coming. And now you just out there feeling bad. That's the other thing. You got to have a thick skin, because this business, is 90% rejection.
Amen.
You can't take rejection, don't come, because that's what you're going to get. You're going to hear no more times than you will hear yes. And if you can't take that, this is not the business for you. And that's what this show is about, for other people who have success to come on and talk about their experiences in the business, be it positive or negative. You learn by listening. And the problem is a lot of people don't want to listen.
Amen. I was having a conversation with a plus-size model, and we were talking about undergarments.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was saying, well, why don't, it was at the plus-size fashion show, the plus-size pageant that I was judging. And I said, well, she would look so much better if she just pulled it in and tied it down and, had on something underneath it. And she said, what the problem is, women don't want to feel tied down and cumbersome. I said, well, but don't you want the best shape or the best silhouette for yourself? And what are your thoughts on that? I feel like you need a good...
Foundation garments are important. Back in my day, we wore, you call them waist snippers. We wore 2 and 3 of them to get that hourglass
Really?
shape. Oh, yes, we did. I've worn girdles, also, whatever I needed to get that shape, that line that I wanted. As long as I look smooth and neat. Am I suffering? Yes.
Pain is beauty.
But I'm making my money. I'm getting my clothes and whatever it is that I want. People are hiring me. I can take that stuff off and breathe later on. But this is a business. This is not about how you feel. If you look sloppy, you're not going to get the job.
Amen.
It's as simple as that. So you want to do what is necessary to get the job. Goes back to that whole changing the game. No, you're not going to change the game without your foundation garments. And a Spanx, you were 18, 20 and Spanx is not going to do it for
No,
you.
not at all.
You kind of need a full body foundation. It's
Yes.
as simple as that.
Yes, and they need to go and get fitted for one.
Yep. The proper bra, all of that stuff is important. You have to do your homework because it costs a lot of money to be in the modeling business, period. The overhead is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
And why waste your money?
But the good thing is we reduced some of the overhead because now you no longer have comp cards.
Who told?
They don't really have comp cards anymore. Everything is digital online.
No. Well, you can't look. I'm a casting
You
agent.
can get people get comp cards made, but they're really not. If somebody's hiring for a job, they're going to go on, let's say Wilhelmina.com, and they're going to go through all the women's division and pick who they want. They're going to look at each model's profile and pick who they want.
Well, I mean, some people might be doing that. But
And then they're going to request you.
You come into a casting. Wow.
Wow, that was quick.
Okay.
Can we have a part 2?
Yes, we absolutely can have a part 2. The music means we are almost out of time, baby. I want to thank my guest host, Christopher Michael, for joining us and helping us flip the script today. I like this so much, I think I'm going to do it again because I got a lot to say and nobody ever wants to interview me.
Yeah.
But before I go, I'm going to leave you with a few thoughts. I want you to, number 1, remember to surround yourself with positive people and positive things. Remember that you can't change the game without first learning the game. And lastly, do what you love and love what you do. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest. If you missed an episode of Model Behavior, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. You can catch up on all of the past episodes there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next Saturday at 11:30. Class is officially dismissed. Bye, y'all.